Well, hello.
What's up? What's up?
Everybody's coming. Fallen Oats.
That
It's the
that y'all.
best
That was
song.
it was, and that was totally Amy's idea to do that. Like the whole Step Brothers theme for this shindig, whatever this is going to be, and using that soundtrack was all her idea. So thank
It
you for
was
that, Amy.
we've
absolutely
we've
all.
blown our entire
I just
marketing budget,
enabled it.
Yeah, we dumped our entire marketing budget.
but it
We
was
bought
worth
her
the
that.
video.
Yeah, it was worth it.
And just fair warning, that song will be in your head for the next 24 hours. So just
It will.
prepare yourself. You can't unhear that
Yeah.
song for some reason.
No,
So whenever I
it's so
was
great.
making that, when I was making that intro, I had to listen to it like 37 times to find the right clip and get it narrowed down, and then watching the video through and through to make sure everything looked right. Oh my God, it was stuck in my head. It's been stuck in my head ever since then. Yeah. Cool. So,
What are we doing
Prestige
here?
Worldwide. What are we doing here? I have no idea. There were some jokes that were made earlier that I'm not going to make live because Amy almost didn't show up. So we won't make the jokes. But so the way this thing
That chat group
started
doesn't even
is
exist anymore. It's gone. Just burned it all down.
none of us are in Slack anymore.
No.
So the way this came about is I preach and talk to clients and people all the time about how live streaming is such a great way to show your expertise, but I don't live stream to show anything that I know. So I thought, what better way to do that than to start another show and bring people on that were having issues with their live streams, whether it's how to make them fun and engaging, or how to get people there, or topics, or whatever the case is, and just have a conversation with them live. But so much of your live stream being successful hinges on your presence on LinkedIn being successful. And since I'm not the expert on that, even though I learned a lot from the expert on that, I thought, what better way to do it than to bring a LinkedIn expert on? And we just kind of tag team LinkedIn lives and LinkedIn presence and all that, and do the thing. And then Amy's here for moral support. Like, she's been in the
Yeah.
background, helping us with ideas, and she did all the graphics and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for that, Amy.
Yes, and for coming on and being our. In case we didn't have another person show up, we at least had someone. So it wasn't
Yeah.
just me and Chris. Yeah. So,
Someone trash talk on the side. No
Yeah,
big deal.
exactly. There has been a ton of trash talk in the background.
But yeah,
For sure.
Chris, what you were saying, as far as live streams go, like I've been the same way. Like, I've started my own business about a year ago. I have gone live probably 3 or 4 times in the last year, most of which was just me by myself, very awkwardly, just talking, trying to give LinkedIn tips. It's way easier when you have someone to go back and forth with, obviously. But Chris just sent me a message a couple weeks ago, said, "Hey, do you want to start a show?" We jumped on a Zoom call last week, talked for 10 minutes. We said, sure. And the next thing we know, apparently that's all it takes to create a show on LinkedIn is you just announce it. You say you're going to do it. And now you've got a
As long as
show.
you have Chris's help, that's all that it takes. He does all the legwork for us.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited.
My LinkedIn is acting weird. It's showing there's only 2 people watching, but I know there's more than 2 people watching.
I'm shocked there's 2 people. I'm thrilled. I'm fine with 2 people. Thank you to both of you, whoever you. I'm having trouble seeing who all is on.
Yeah, maybe they're not. I don't know.
While Chris is
Yes.
checking LinkedIn, folks, though, you guys be sure and drop any questions that you have about live streaming, about LinkedIn, whether that's your profile, content strategy, lead generation. If you want to ask about Chris's merchandise, which you really should, because Chris has his own merch line now, the floor is open for questions. There is no scripted dialogue here.
Yeah, none at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready, set, go. It's all on y'all. Really, this show we didn't have any guests lined up because we just kind of wanted to talk about it, talk about the goals of it, talk about some live streaming tips and some LinkedIn tips and all that kind of stuff. Starting in 2 weeks, though, we have a guest. So we're going to do this every 2 weeks through the end of November. kind of evaluate it at that time and see whether we want to go to weekly, we'll probably keep it every 2 weeks just because we're both so busy.
Or until LinkedIn cancels us.
Or
Yeah.
until LinkedIn cancels us, which is
Yeah.
highly
very.
possible. Hey, there's Melissa,
Hey, Melissa.
bestie.
I'm seeing some folks. Jeremy, Denise, Krista, Mary. Wow, we do have more than 2 people. This
We
is
do have, yeah.
phenomenal.
Krista's going to be a guest. When is she going to be a guest?
Soon.
29th, November the 29th. She is the last one of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
to all of the volunteers.
Yeah, definitely. We had a bunch of people volunteer for it. We're going to have to start a list. I need to start a list. They're in my head right now, but I'll forget them. So
They have to
Jennifer
buy
had a
merch
good
to be
question.
A volunteer, though, right?
Yes, exactly. You do have to buy
Mm.
merch.
That's how you get on the list.
That's how you get on the list for right. Exactly. So when should you do a live stream? X number of followers. I don't think your follower count matters so much as your presence on LinkedIn. You have to be active and people have to know who you are for your live stream to be successful. What I tell my clients, and Anthony can expound on this, is if you're not being active, nobody's going to know who you are. So why should they show up to hear anything you have to say? I would recommend at least a month or 2 before you want to start going live. Spend 30, 40 minutes a day in the comments of other people's posts, and then post, whatever works for you 2 to 5 times a week or whatever. That's just kind of a general rule, because you want people to start seeing your name everywhere on comments, in their comments, on other people's posts, for them to recognize who you are. And then they'll be, whenever you do decide to go live, their interest is going to be piqued. Just the same thing as when you start posting. So that's kind of the general rule of thumb I tell people.
Yeah, everything Chris said. So, like, I think the only requirement to go live now is you have to have creator mode enabled.
Correct.
In the past, you had to apply for LinkedIn Live.
Mhm.
And I know this well because I applied and was denied at least 5 times by LinkedIn. I don't.
We didn't
I don't
hear
know what I
anything
had.
about that. We never heard about that.
No, we
And-
didn't. And then when he got LinkedIn Live, he never went live.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with my hands once I
Take that,
had
LinkedIn.
But yeah, make sure you have creator mode enabled. And when you do that, like you get LinkedIn Live, newsletters, audio events. They keep adding to the things that they give you when you enable creator mode. But yeah, like Chris said, don't just jump right into live streaming. You want to build a presence up. You want to build a network. Be someone who is, who has some visibility on the platform. And like you said, the best way to do that is engaging with other people's content on a regular basis, leaving meaningful comments, creating your own original content, and show up as a person who is supporting the overall conversation on LinkedIn, leading with value. And then once you start your show, that'll really help kickstart it. So,
Yep. Where's creator mode, Anthony?
yeah. So if you scroll about halfway down your profile page, at least on desktop, you'll see a resources section. Next to that, you'll see creator mode. It'll be toggled off. Just click the little toggle button, and then you can add like 5 hashtags, things that you talk about, types of content you post, or the services that you provide. And that will put that in your just below your headline on your profile, so people know when they hit your page what you're all about and the type of business that you're in.
Yep.
Another
It's that
cool thing
simple.
about creator mode is it changes your activity section so that it shows your latest activity instead of just where you're commenting.
Right.
So,
Your last 6
That's it.
posts, I believe.
yeah.
Yep. Gabe, we do not offer mental health for live streaming addiction. We're not qualified for that at all. So you're on your own on that one.
So, Chris, I know one of the questions that you've gotten a lot is like, why should people live stream? Like,
Mhm.
what's the benefit of live streaming versus, say, putting just a recorded video up? Because, take myself, for example, I've doubled down on video content over the last year. I'm putting a lot of it out there. But why should I be adding the live stream to that mix?
So everybody knows the video increases your likability factor, the trust factor, lets people see your personality, makes people feel like they know you, even though they have no clue who you are or anything like that. There's a psychological term for it, but I don't know what it is. I tried to Google it and couldn't find it. Went down a long rabbit hole of stuff trying to find that psychological term. But live video is that amplified because they get to see all the uh-ohs, all the oh craps, all the mess ups. And there's usually not that many. Like, there hadn't been one yet on this one.
Give it
It's
time.
still early though.
Yeah, I was
give
say
it time.
we're ruined now. You set us up for failure. So,
Exactly.
uh,
But it's also the audience interaction. Just like the people in the audience right now are asking questions, you get to answer that in real time. People are networking and talking to each other in the comments. I've met some really cool people in the comments of other people's live streams. And I've had a bunch of people become friends in the comments of my live stream. So it's just kind of a trifecta or a perfect storm, in my opinion, of video. And, LinkedIn only lets you do a 2-minute video, and it's weird. I won't watch a 10-minute video if somebody posts it. I have to really, really like you if I'm going to sit down and watch a 10-minute video. But I'll watch a live stream that's 30 or 45 minutes long, because to me it's more fun and entertaining, whether you're by yourself or whether you have guests, just because of the interaction with the people in the audience and the people on screen.
Yeah, just much more impactful. And I've seen a couple of comments here. It's authentic, like people, they love authenticity on LinkedIn because there's a lot of, what's the opposite of authentic?
Say what you were thinking.
Unauthentic, fake. So authenticity is a big part of your content strategy, or it should be on LinkedIn. Being authentic, real, showing your personality, who you are as a human being. And then when you go live, it just amplifies that, like you said, and it's in the moment. You're right. There are typically some screw ups, but people just relate and they connect to that on a different level than a recorded video, for sure. But it's a big barrier for so many people, and I'm one of them. And the biggest barrier for me is not necessarily, the fear of being on camera. It's the fear of doing it and managing all of the technical stuff in the background, because it is not a simple push a button, go live, and everything looks like it looks like on this screen right now. You guys are seeing a scroll, you're seeing this cool background and logos. Like I couldn't do any of that. And that's where Chris is like the expert. So, Chris, how do you make it happen? How do you juggle all of that?
It gets really distracting. I need to have Gabe run one of my shows for me, except he just started live streaming again. And he goes live at the same time I do. He streams like 5 nights a week or something, 7 nights a week. It's ridiculous. I've never had anybody run one of my shows. I need to do that just so I can see what it's like. But it gets really distracting when you're trying to keep up. Hi, Amy. Was that you?
Yeah. It came through real loud.
Yeah. It gets real distracting, especially when the comments are rolling in and you're trying to keep up with them. Usually I'll take 3 or 4 or 5 minutes at the beginning of the show and greet people as they're coming in and just kind of, BS my way through the beginning. But if you want an engaging live stream, you have to engage with your audience, just like you do whenever you post. It's no different. So you need to make sure that the people in the audience feel welcome and that you see them. Usually if Anthony was talking, or Amy was talking and we're having a conversation, I'm not always going to answer or recognize everybody, even though I'm pulling people up on screen right now. I'm not necessarily saying their name every time. I try to go over here to LinkedIn and respond to some comments, but it gets to be a lot. Like there's a lot going on in all of that. So sometimes I miss what my guest is saying because I'm trying to keep the show running at the same time. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
And I say that because if anyone, and this is not like a sales pitch for Chris, I'm not, that's not the point here, but I am being serious. Like the first time you go live, it makes a world of difference when you have someone like Chris in the background who's taking care of that, so you can focus on the content. You can focus on the conversation because it is a lot. So, and you know, that's one of the things Chris does is he not only does the production, but he can also train you on how to do it. And that's what he's helped me with, both in the, you know, production of the show and teaching me, although I still, I don't want to go live unless I have him in the, in my corner as the man in the background.
Yeah. So Jennifer had a good question. The crawl, I'm going to assume you're talking about like the ticker going across the bottom. That is not a LinkedIn feature. That's a Restream feature. You have to use a third-party streaming software to go live on LinkedIn. And it's really cool. Like, I don't know, some people complain about it, but you know, after using it for almost 2 years now, I wouldn't do it any other way because it allows you to connect multiple social media channels to the broadcast. So like Anthony right now is streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. I only have my LinkedIn turned on because that music we used was not royalty free. So
He
I
tells
didn't
me
want to
that after I'm streaming already. So, you know, I'm probably going to get shut down on YouTube now.
LinkedIn doesn't really trip out on that too much. Yeah, this is a feature in Restream that does that. And I can also like add a lower third. Let's just type something dumb. I can make like a banner that comes up. So I can put that up on the bottom, like how y'all are, you know, I could put the website up there or talking points. So if you're going to have, you know, you want to hit A, B, C, and D, you can put your talking points up there on screen. Yeah, it's a pretty cool little program for sure.
I love how you have my website, you know, just continuing to scroll. And as I'm looking over here out of the corner of my eye, Google Analytics is lit up with 0 active. So that's really disappointing. So
Yeah.
you can just take that off. See a couple more people showed up.
Yeah. Marcelino, what do y'all have what is that? What are you trying to say? I'm not, a duet prepared. Okay.
Step Brothers.
No, we don't have a duet prepared. One thing I tell people too, if you're thinking about going live and you want to go live for the first time, don't have an agenda, don't have, you know, any talking points, don't be worried about bringing any value. Just bring up you and 1 or 2 or 3 people on that you're comfortable with, and y'all just talk. My very first live stream, Amy was there. Trevor Hansen was there. There was Nathan was there. Aaron was there. Jacob Schwer was there. And we just literally like hung out and laughed for over an hour and didn't talk about anything while I played around with, I was using StreamYard then. I played around in StreamYard, and, you know, it was really cringe. Like, it's on YouTube now, but you know, the first 2 or 3 minutes were me sitting there going, am I live? Are we live? I don't know. I can't tell. Like, it was definitely cringeworthy, but there was no pressure to perform or to bring any value because I knew, even though I didn't know anything about live streaming then, I knew I didn't want to do anything serious or try to have a conversation while I was trying to go live for the first time. Yep. You cannot just go live on LinkedIn. You have to have a third-party streaming service. There's Restream and StreamYard are the 2 that are LinkedIn's preferred partners. There's several other ones out there that are really a lot better, but the comments do not populate into the streaming platform because LinkedIn's API and their API don't communicate right or something, because LinkedIn's weird like that. So, yep, you have to have a third party.
Another question from Mary. Can you tell us about creator mode again? What
Where
it does
is it? I saw that.
Scroll on down. Yeah. So Mary,
there it is.
Creator mode is can I share my screen? We're going to get really crazy here.
Yeah.
See if it
share
works.
it.
There's a good chance this will blow something up, folks. So just prepare yourself. All right. Do you see the screen? Yeah. Ha! It does work. Okay.
Yeah.
So on your profile here. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was going to say I made us disappear, but y'all they can still hear us.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you scroll down your page, you'll see resources and creator mode. I have mine turned on already. If you haven't, yours will say off. Just hit that toggle button. And when you open it, so at the top, you can add, like I said earlier, 5 topics. These are things that you talk about in your content related to your industry, the services you provide, whatever. It will actually convert those into hashtags. I'll show you where that shows up in a minute. But below there are creator tools. And when you turn this on, just by virtue of turning on creator mode, you get access to LinkedIn Live, which we're doing right now, LinkedIn audio events, which are relatively new. And I think there are still, I don't know that everyone has access to this. It's still being rolled out. LinkedIn newsletters, which is a whole topic in and of itself that we could cover in a future episode. And then this new follow on LinkedIn. This is new as of a few weeks ago, or at least since I noticed it. And if you click it, basically it just gives you a little block of code. So if you wanted to have a button that you put on your blog or on your website, you could just copy that code, paste it in, and it would have that follow button. So it's a pretty cool way for people to, follow you from another site. But that's basically what creator mode does. And as I mentioned, the hashtags, they show up right here below your headline. And again, it just kind of paints a picture when a person lands on your profile. What is this person about? What do they talk about? What services do they provide? And, it may allow someone to connect with you a little bit faster. So that's creator mode in a nutshell. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And we're back. Magic.
What else? There was another question. Marcelina had a question. It is always recorded later. It shows up in your activity as a post, and you can click on it and watch it.
Something else that I really like to do from live shows is to take that recording afterwards, and then you can chop that up. Find key moments, key parts of the conversation, chop that up into a 30-second, 1-minute clip that you can repurpose. Not just for LinkedIn, but for other social media channels also. I'm sure when this is over, Chris and I could go back and we could probably pull 5 or 10 really good, meaningful clips out of this to repurpose. So it has a lot of value outside of just that live stream.
Yep. Zach, I would love to have a chat with you about it. You're watching on Anthony's side, so I can't find you right now and connect with you, but find me and shoot me a connection request. I'd love to chat with you about it.
Awesome.
For sure. Awesome. Yep. Is there a benefit to following others?
So I'm wondering if the question is connect versus follow. I'm guessing maybe that's the question. I don't know if
that's what I'm guessing.
So the kind of short answer to that is a connection is like a two-way relationship. I see your content, you see my content, we can exchange DMs. That's a connection. Whereas a follow is a one-way relationship where if I follow you, I will see your content in the news feed. You will never see mine. That's basically it. And LinkedIn introduced that follow feature a year or two ago because we follow people on social media all the time, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We follow complete strangers without thinking about it. I think for a lot of people on LinkedIn, the whole idea of a connection, not everyone knows what that means. What does that imply? Okay, if we're connected, do we have to talk or, whatever? But follow is just really easy for someone to click. And you can actually set follow as your default on your profile.
And it does that automatically with creator mode on.
That's right, it does. And the benefit of that is when you make a post, it shows up in the news feed. And I don't have an example pulled up right now, but you'll notice there are posts in the news feed made by second and third degree connections, people who are not connected to you, and they will have a follow button right there at the top of their post. So if you like that content from that one post they made, you can easily click follow, and that's a great way to build up the number of followers faster than you would maybe in a real connection sense.
Mm-hmm. Christy, you cannot chop it up on Restream. It records it. You have to download it and do it yourself. I do it in a really, I don't have any kind of really real professional video editing. I clip it in Windows Media Player. I find the timestamp and I clip that out. I put it in wave.video and caption it, put background music on it. Then I move it over to Canva and put a title bar and a footer bar in it.
It's real easy, just like that.
It's real easy. So there's probably easier ways to do it. Like Descript, you can do it right in there and put the title bar at the top and bottom. I have not figured Descript out yet. But there's some other cool video editing tools. And Amy has, like, she does a lot of her stuff on her phone using captions for the captions.
Yeah, CapCut. You can chop everything. Captions is super easy. Drop it in. You get a dozen different options on how you want to caption it. Both are free. Wave is fantastic, but you have to be on a
Wave
desktop for it.
And you have to pay for it to download or to render anything more than like 2 minutes, and to download anything,
Yeah.
you have to pay for it. Yeah.
Totally worth it though, because it's not
Totally
bad,
worth
is
it. $25 a month.
Yeah.
And it has a
What it was.
badass live streaming tool in it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I haven't done the live streaming tool within Wave, but everything else on it's terrific.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'll
captions,
check that
CapCut.
It is in an MP4. It downloads in an MP4. You can also download just the audio if you want to publish it as a podcast. What were the apps again?
CapCut or InShot to trim a video. Captions, which is called Captions, to add that to your video. And then Canva. I use Canva for everything.
Canva. Yeah.
You want to name your kids, go to Canva. You want to create a business, go to Canva. Like, you can use it for everything. So the
I
best.
see a question over here from Jeremy. Is audio events similar to Clubhouse on LinkedIn? Yes, it is. It is LinkedIn's attempt to clone the functionality of Clubhouse. Clubhouse was all the rage like in 2020. I was on it all the time, and then I don't know what happened. I guess maybe people just got burned out or whatever. And I don't remember the last time I was on Clubhouse. I have participated as a listener in a handful of LinkedIn audio events. I have yet to host one. I don't know. If I had to choose between live streaming and audio events, I would choose live streaming every time, just because it's even though there are some moving pieces, once you start doing it, it is easier. And like, I'm more comfortable on camera speaking than I am speaking like with no visual. Like I
Right.
talking on the phone, which I hate talking on the phone.
I do too.
I feel like I'm talking on the phone, and you can't read the room. You can't read the audience. You don't know if they give a crap about what you're saying, because all you see is just a static little image of, the people that are there. I'm not trying to discourage you from using it, but that's just kind of my experience with it so far.
Yeah,
We were
I'm the same
absolutely
way.
saying, don't use that. Just live stream. And let Chris do it. Like, I'll say it. Don't do the
we're live
audio
streaming.
events. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I hate talking on the phone. It's so weird. Like, I don't even have Amy's number, but if I was to call Amy and try and talk to her, it'd be like a 2-minute conversation. But I can get on Zoom with her and talk to her for literally an hour like it's nothing. So it's just,
If you ever call me, I'd be like, it is an emergency. What's happening?
Yeah, I know, right?
We can't do this.
Why the hell are you calling me?
Oh my God.
But that's just the way I am. I'm not a phone talker, but I can talk on video with someone for forever. I don't know why I'm like that, but
Same here.
Yeah.
Like, I try to push
if I ever
all
try
of
to call
my.
any of you, please call 911 immediately.
right.
Call somebody.
I try to push like all of my folks who book calls to learn more about my services. Like, I want to do that on Zoom. I don't want to do it over the phone. If they want to, I will. But like, I will butcher a phone conversation in about 10 seconds. But I can have a meaningful dialogue back and forth if I'm able to look at you on video. It's just
I feel the same way.
Weird mental thing. I don't know.
Yep. Hey, Tanya. Tanya wants to come on the show too. She says she needs LinkedIn help. Tanya was my very first training client, very first person I ever trained to live stream.
Awesome.
And she's out there killing it right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, y'all, it's been 30 minutes. It went by really fast. I can't believe it.
So
So
having fun.
Yeah, it does when you're having fun.
It
What
does.
were you going to say, Anthony?
We did not include enough stepbrother references in today's
We
show. I
didn't.
want to apologize for that. And I also want to make it very clear for those who saw the picture of me and Chris where I had my hands over his shoulder. That was not a glamour shot, photo shoot that we had. For those of you,
It was. It was. You asked if you could put your hand on his shoulder. It was weird and uncomfortable,
No,
but
that
you
is-
captured the moment.
that it was perfect. But that is stepbrothers, and those are our heads, copy and pasted. Although I will say, I sent Chris a message this morning. Like, we really should have had matching plaid sweaters, and we will
Yeah.
try to do that for the next episode. No promises, but yeah. Stepbrothers.
Yeah, stepbrothers.
If you haven't
We just
seen the
become
movie,
best
fine.
friends.
Stop what
Someone
you're doing
out
right
there
now.
is like,
Go
are
do
they
it.
stepbrothers?
Yeah, I
What's
know, right?
happening?
So look, I was getting in the mood for this last week, and I'm watching clips on YouTube of Step Brothers, and I fell down a rabbit hole of deleted scenes. I sent some to Anthony and Amy in Slack, and they were just like, it was epic. It was absolutely epic. So
They
Go to
were
YouTube.
fantastic.
watch some deleted scenes on Step Brothers, and
Not
will
with
be
your
like,
children
"Oh,
present.
please not with your children present,
Or your boss in the background.
or your
your
boss in the
boss.
background, yeah,
Or
'cause it
anyone
was
that you care about, honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
These are important LinkedIn best practices right here. I need to include this in my coaching right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mama, you were not. You were the live stream king, man. Making jokes on us. All right, we got to go, y'all, because I got to eat lunch. Thank y'all for
Thanks for
joining us.
tuning in,
2
everyone.
weeks. Yep, 2 weeks. We have Jacob Roig. He's going to be on. And it'll be our first guest, and we'll kind of get this thing launched and see where it goes.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
See y'all
Have
later.
a good one.